Sure. Yeah, I think that was a Merman modded.
All right, guys, anybody in here? Am I showing a feed? Brand new deal to me. Hey, kid. What's up, 12th man? Welcome. Let's give it a few minutes. Let everybody drop in. What do y'all think about? Give it a minute or two and get started. What's up? Lights out. What's up, Nitro? CO2, Mr. Little Chili. All right, let's give it a few more minutes. What's it sound? Does it sound like? What does it sound like? Am I screaming, yelling, normal? Can't hear me? What's up, freak? Man, I'm feeling you today. Had you worked up? We can do that. We can do a shock build. I love shocks. I'm all into those. One of my kids is tuned in. Jason, I got 2 twins. He's up in Kansas right now. EKJ 24,000. What's up? We're gonna do some clutch setups. Oh, the boss is home. Look at that. Hands full of packages. Hey, honey. Welcome home. All right, guys. Let's get started. All right, guys. Just a little bit about me. I'm more the behind the scenes kind of guy on the tuning, clutching, everything I've always done in racing. And I drove a whole lot. So not real comfortable about being in front of this camera. It's eating me up, guys. So I want to get tongue-tied. I'm probably going to backtrack. I've been thinking about doing this for, months. Finally, work myself up to it because I think I got a lot of knowledge I can help you guys with. And it's just not something you can help somebody over a text or, a phone call. You really got to sit down and show and put the hands on it. So hope you get something out of it tonight. And I'm probably going to do some more discussions on this. So just bear with my country ass and let's roll with it. All right, guys, we're going to talk about clutches and how they work. And this, guys, this is me having years of experience. Am I saying this is fact? This is my fact. This is my personal experience over years me knowing engine clutches, axle clutches, through karting. 40 years, guys, I've been doing this. I know a lot about clutching, piping, and everything. All right, guys, I'm not going to be able to read that, keep concentration right now. All right, let's go. So we're going to talk about a few different setups today. We're going to do racing setups. We're going to do some bashing setups. And I'm going to give you some information on how clutches work, the theory of clutches, springs, the whole 9 yards, guys. This is kind of my forte. This is what I have the passion about. I love the clutching, the piping, and the gearing of these cars. So where should we start? Well, okay, we're talking nothing but 4-shoe clutches today. So let's start out with this setup. Okay, like I said, here we go with the backtracking. Guys, you got to keep it simple. And I know everybody wants to try this, that, and everything else, but all these brands of clutches, Reds, Nova Rossi, Associated, they're all, Techno, they're all good clutches. They're all good clutches. You just have to work and massage those clutches. So my kind of rule of thumb around here is that I either run the clutch that comes with the buggy, which in my case is associated, so I run associated clutches, or I run the clutches if the engine manufacturer makes a clutch, I run their clutch, which is a Reds. So that's what I do. So in my Reds engines, I run the Reds clutches. In the Maxima engines, I've been running associated clutches. I'm really happy with that setup. So that's kind of the number one thing I stay with. And that's going to touch a little bit with the pipe. I stay with the pipe that the manufacturer suggests. You can go smooth or torque pipe, either way, but stay with the manufacturer. I always do that. So I know that engine pipe combination is there. Okay, now I'll move to my clutch. Oh, here we go, guys. This is years of stuff to just up in there. And it's so hard to explain even where to start. Let's start with the springs. Springs do two things, guys. They balance your clutch, and they give you the stall where the clutch engages. A lot of guys, you ever heard them saying you balance your clutches? I think when people say balancing your clutches, they think they're putting weights or something on here and balancing their clutches. No, that's not. Balancing your clutch. Here we go. Let's start. The springs, guys. If you notice in most of these kits, when they give you, say, now this is on the racing side, coming out of the kit, they'll give you the they tell you 2 carbon, 2 aluminum. And then they'll give you the difference between the springs, between like a 1.0 and a 0.95. Correct, right? Okay. A lot of guys, a lot of people, and hey, if that's what they want to think, more power to them. But I want to tell you, a lot of people think only those springs are used for a stall, meaning when the engine comes up on revs is when they fling out. And that's not the truth. That's not the case, guys. Yes, that is one and the major thing it does. But the next thing is by putting different spring tensions on, you're balancing, because of course you see my scale over here. You have a carbon fiber and you have aluminum. They're different weights in grams. The inertia of the engine kicking out these shoes is gonna be different. So that spring, first thing it has to do, it has to balance, meaning that carbon fiber has to hit the same time with aluminum. And that is in today's times, guys. We're talking 5 years back and go watch a video 4 years back. You're lost on. We done moved forward. We're moving forward, you know? So again, you have to balance this. So you put a lighter spring on the carbon fibers, put a little heavier one on the aluminums, boom, they engage at the same time. Now let's talk. There's different scenarios, different engine you run, different track you run, how you drive, and everything. So there is no wrong or right way, but they are paths. You know, take the red brick road, the yellow brick road, you know, whatever road you want, color you want to take, and you try to get to the same spot. There's different ways, but you can't just mix it all up. So with the springs, so when you get that balance where they're connecting to the bell at the same time, that's what you want. Now, this is where the trick comes in. This is where the fun, the science part of it. Now, it is your job as the hobbyist and enthusiast to find where that engine likes its power band. Where does it come in at? Now that we got our engine, our clutch balance by the right spring differential, 1.0, 9 point, and you can go 9.5, 9.0, just keep it within those two numbers right there. You've got to keep it there. Now, so when you get it on there and you're saying, well, okay, it's not engaging. Okay, this is where I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So we get our balance, back to getting our balance correct. The next thing is we want to find where the power band, where the clutch and the pipe come on together. So this is where we need to either go. If it's coming in too low, too early, too quick, we need to go up on our spring tensions. Keep them the same apart. We're not gonna put a 1.1 and a 9.5 on. We want to keep them the same. So we'll go up on both springs and see if that works. Or if it's coming in screaming and not coming in early enough, you want to lighten them. So with that being said, we have other clutches, other setups. So in the 5-port, this works good, guys. The 2 and 2, that works good. But now we're moving on to these higher end engines nowadays. The Red Scuderias, the Maximas, I think some of these Alasi motors, the Drake motors, the Techno Block's a badass motor. There's a lot of good engines out there. So what racers are looking for now is a combination where where it's really hard to hit. Hey, let me back up. Let me look at some of these comments first. All right, cool. Cool. You're just listening. Great. So, anyway, we're moving on to, this is my latest and greatest deal I'm doing. It's 3 aluminum and 1 carbon fiber. All right, guys, you're asking me, okay, well, why are you doing this? Why don't you go all aluminum? All aluminum, guys. Okay, let's go back a little bit. So when the shoe engages, the type of material is how hard it's going to engage once it's there. So On these, on this setup, I'm going 3 aluminum, 1 carbon fiber. You're asking, well, why not all aluminum? Well, the all aluminum gives it too much. It comes in too hard, too much. It's like a on and off switch, on and off switch. So what we're finding nowadays is going back kind of to the 3 shoe, where these are actually working and doing the grabbing, and the carbon fiber is actually doing the sweeping. Kind of cleaning the slag off the inside of the bell, keeping it clean. So this combination is the latest and greatest, and it really, really works, guys. So let's go a little bit back to the balance. We talked about that balance. Y'all see this gauge, guys? Most of y'all are thinking, yeah, that's just to see if your shoes are wore out or not. Yeah, but you can use it for some other things. Number one thing is check your balance. Let's go back to balance. You can put in here, and yes, those have, I don't know if y'all can see it, but they have little knobs, and you can move it. You see how much shoes, as you can see, these are brand new. You can move it. This is after one race weekend. And then you put it over the carbon fiber, it's the same. See, that tells me my clutch is balanced. They're the carbon fiber and aluminum are the same. That means they're engaging at the exact same time, which is what I want. I don't want one to engage the other, the blah, blah, blah. Your clutch becomes erratic then. These clutches are advanced so much nowadays, you can kind of get them slip, 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 grab. Slip, 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 grab to where you want them. So you have to find where that clutch likes to be engaged. There is no, hey, the secret setup, go to 1.0 and a 9.5 with all aluminum. It's not that easy. Every engine likes different things. And kind of backing up a little bit, going back on the shoes. You know, I see a lot of guys running the Max Lives, King Heads for bashing. That's fine. That's fine. But, let's talk a little bit about bashing. You can go all aluminum on the bashing. And I see a lot of guys do that, and they just throw some springs at it. If you're going all aluminum, I would go definitely the same springs all the way around, and then you fluctuate the tension of the springs for your stall, where you want that engine to come in, or that clutch, where you want that clutch to come in. Keep all the springs the same, guys. Fluctuate the weight of the springs. You want everything balanced. But with that being said, even the mod guys, the mods, even the truggies, man, I think that I need to try that 1 carbon 3 aluminum. I think it'll work for you guys too. Man, I had so much more to say. Let me read some comments. Let me think about this and see what's going on. Absolutely, Mr. Little Chili. That's what we're finding out now. Not finding out. We all kind of knew it, but it was like, hey, how do you fix that? What do you do? So remember back in the day, the 3 shoes, they worked well. Remember Lutz came out with one of those 3 shoes back in the day. He was one of the first guys trying that, and it really, really worked well. And they're kind of going back to that, using that 4th as a sweeper to kind of clean everything off. And yeah, the grams of weight, guys, just like Mr. Chili said in the comment, grams of weight are everything. Grams of weight is also going to dictate how hard it hits. Springs are going to take it up so far, and it's going to hit the bell. Well, the heavier, the more grams in that shoe, when that spring is activated and it slings and it hits the shoe, I mean, the bell, the inside of the bell, it's how hard it is. That's exactly right. That's why I don't suggest changing up. Going, well, let's this week, let's try the king heads. Next week, let's try the whatever the other ones are. I know which one I'm talking about. No, off market one. I can't see being able to stay simplified. You know, so I try to stay with the same way. And what I'll do is I'll buy a bag of shoes, you know, say 2 or 3 bags of aluminum, 2 or 3 bags of carbon. I'll throw them out for fun and I'll weigh them on my scale individually. And I'll try to come up with the closest weights possible to balance my clutch. Um, but you got to remember, guys, springs do 2 things. They control the stall and they control the balance of when them shoes actually engage to the bell. And a lot of you guys, I hate using that, a lot of you guys. I think there's a lot of deal where you go window shopping, you buy that part that's staring you in the face and saying, yeah, these are good. You go throw them in your vehicle, and you're saying, yeah, that's running good. But really, guys, and I'm not being sarcastic here. I'm challenging you. Can you really hear your clutch? Can you? We talk every day. I see it every day in the chats. I see it every day in videos. Talk about tuning, listening for this and that. You're right. That's right. But you know what? There's a clutch sound too, guys. There's a clutch on the pipe sound. And you've got to be able to hear that. And that is where I hear things. I don't just hear the motor. I get my motors tuned and I know where they're tuned at and I listen for the clutch. And I can tune an engine on a clutch. Yes, to a certain extent, guys. Now don't get carried away with that. But I can change the tune of my engine with a clutch. Yes, I can make it run a little rich, or I can make it run a little leaner. Yes, I can. I think some people will agree with me. So, you know, if you run all king heads, that's fine, but stay consistent with running that and fluctuate in I challenge y'all to put different springs in there, not keep it balanced. Remember, find the balance and then fluctuate your springs up or down, more or less stall. Because I think a lot of guys are just, bam, throwing, okay, here we go. This is what I love now. So they're throwing in springs that's going to rev it to the moon and boom, when they get on it, it's going. But you know what? You can rev all you want. If we have the same engine, and I'm just throwing numbers out here. So guys, don't take these numbers and stand. I'm just giving examples. I'm throwing numbers. If you, and I'm going to go like pretty much from karting days. If your clutch is coming in at 10-1, but when it comes in, it's slamming and you're revving the R's. And this goes back to what we talked about with Nitro Mike. RPMs don't relate to horsepower because I can torque down, pull 9,400 RPMs, but if my engine can pull that gear, I'm going to be faster than you turning 10-1 because I'm pulling. And that's what a clutch does. It has to pull. So some of you guys are saying, oh, wow, it's screaming. I bet you're past your power band. I bet you if you lower your idle down, get it down sitting on single stage idle, lower your idle down, get it sitting down, get your clutching right, you're going to notice a difference. You're going to notice a big difference. Because I think a lot of you guys are putting too heavy springs in there and spinning past your power band. I think if you get it lower in the power band, these engines nowadays, they pull. Use them. Quit revving them to the moon. They will pull. So, like I said, you know, it turns 40,000 RPMs. Yeah, the power band. I'm sitting at 32, but I'm pulling a gear. So, and that's all about the clutching, guys. So if it's expanding too fast, hitting too hard at a too high of a rate, you're past your power band. You're not using your engine. You're just not using your engine. Get it down in the power range. Get it tuned right. Get it clutched right, and it's gonna, it's gonna help. I know I'm kind of getting carried away, and I get on a roll. And a good way to check this, guys, and I know nobody's ever said this before I showed it, but you can get your setup. I'm not gonna go grab the buggy, but you can see me. Get your setup, get everything going, get your engine warmed up, ready to go. Set your car down, get your buddy to help you. Either you full throttle or you, more or less, you probably need to hold it and have somebody full throttle. You sit there, you hold that car down, you bind it down a little bit, full throttle. You'll hear the clutch, or it's gonna go boom, 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 boom. I know you're gonna laugh at me, but hey, this is how I explain it. It's gonna go, if it goes, ooh, 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 dude, it's coming up too early. It's coming in. It's engaging too much. Put a little heavier spring on there. Those are little simple things you can, check. Nobody says that. You set your car down, it goes, whang, you're like, whang, and you're like, oh shit, burning through the clutch. Oh hell. Let me get something to drink. Bang. You're slipping through the clutch, losing power. All right, so see if you might have any questions. With running 3 aluminum and 1 chrome. No, you do not nitro freak. So this is nitro freak's question. So when running 3 aluminum and 1 carbon, do you want to use the same spring? No. So that goes back to balancing your clutch. Because the heavier gram aluminum weight, the heavier gram is going to fling out faster because how heavy it is than the carbon. So you have to go less on your spring rate on the carbon fiber. But that doesn't mean it's coming in later or earlier. You're trying to regulate it where it touches the inside of that bell at the same time. And then when you go from there, that's when the aluminum clutches take over and they grab and go. And then the sweeper comes in just to clean it. Yeah, spool up. It's all about the spool up. Absolutely. Spool it up. Can't go too far. Can't go not. You got to go far enough. You can't go too far. You're right. What's up? You gonna pay the dollars for me? Thank you, honey. All right, guys, remember, I'm not very good at this. I have no problem with redneck. There's some kids that can help. So, listen out on the bottom. So come on, bring some questions up. I can go from there. I can rip from there. I need questions now. I need people asking me, challenge me. It's not that you need to challenge me. It's like you're gonna get more info out of me. And me just trying to spill the beans. Yeah, guys, if you notice, on a lot of my running videos, And I do mine a little different. I do the single stage, but if you notice, guys, I try to get my idle as low as I can. And if you always hear me make that reference, um, get it down, idle down low, burn some fuel. It's because when I can get it down as low as I can on that idle, and I can get it to burn, and now my clutch comes in, I'm right in the power band. It's feeding the right fuel, and I'm making power. So that's kind of what I mean by that. Go watch all my videos, guys. You, my engines are not modded. I'm not doing anything special to my cars. All I'm doing is clutching it, and I'm very, very OCD. My kid Jason, I don't know if he's still in here. He'll tell you they don't mess with clutches in here. I do. You know, I'm showing them, but I love it. I get into the science part. I've done this clutching deal my whole entire career. When I say that, I mean back days, guys. So I really do know the science of the grams of weight. And so, the pros, you're asking, well, what's the difference between the two, the three? Okay, the carbon fiber to aluminum. 5-port engines, they're great, fine, no problem all day long. It's probably going to be your best setup. Maybe, maybe not. You got an engine that's really tuned good, you make some horsepower, you can clutch up. But for the newer engines, the modded engines, this is the way they're going on the racetrack because 2 aluminums is too aggressive, 3 aluminums is about right. So they're kind of going to this setup. And another thing, you're saying, well, why wouldn't you want your engine just to hit hard all the time? Why do you want that happy medium? Again, back to the 4 aluminum versus the 3. They're strong, guys. With that being said, remember, engineering, they're developing stuff every day behind the scenes. So, for shoe, from what I'm understanding from racers and my experiences in the nitro cars, is the 4 shoes, they just come in too hard and it's all at once. So you don't necessarily want that because you want the smooth engagement where it still pulls its RPMs. Because if it engages too hard, guys, it's going to pull the motor down with the ball. It's going to go, and that's also going to hurt on deceleration as well. That's a whole other thing with the clutches, deceleration. That's why you got to keep the clutch smooth and clean on deceleration. Seating the clutch in the bell and shoes are brand new. Little Mr. Chili, do I suggest seating the clutches? I may hit them a little bit, just maybe knock off little burrs when they're brand new, with a little emery cloth or something. But nah, because when I get on the track and I run 5-10 minutes, they're time I warm the buggy up, they're pretty much coming in. So no, I wouldn't waste my time doing it. Now, after you run your vehicle, you take it apart. Of course, you want to clean them up, make sure everything's cool. Would you set the top plate low? Low. And it all depends, not your free, where I set the top plate at. I set it on the reds. I set it on low, always on low. That's just what I do. And we have a high bike track, but I just leave it. I just leave it on low. And I kind of regulate it off my springs. I think that by them doing this, it gave the newbie racer or the racer coming in the hobby how do I explain this? Knowing, okay, I can make some changes by just doing this and give them the comfort feel of being able to adjust their clutches instead of doing it the spring way. So I still do it the old school. Leave it on low, And a lot of pros do the same thing. Just leave it on low, and then they just regulate it off the springs. Play to a medium. All right, hold on. What do you set the top play that season? So set it on low, Nitro Freak, okay. You know, RC, I agree with you. I mean, yeah, if you're going to race, get on there and you want to go, cross all your T's, dot your I's, and it's a big race. Yeah, go ahead and seat your clutch in. But just the general to run, to do some bashing, nah, just throw it out there and go. It's going to seat in pretty quick. But you're right. I mean, it ain't going to hurt. Every little thing helps. I'll agree with you there. Every little thing helps. So, it kind of goes back to, RC, it kind of goes back to what I said, where you hold your clutch a little, you hold your buggy and you rev it up to see if it's on the pipe or not. You're kind of seating it in right there. So that's kind of like a little bit of run time. So, but that is a good point. Absolutely, Mr. Joe. Yeah, it's not going to hurt to set it in. Like I said, it's fine. But like in our cases, we'll go out and break in a set of tires. Say we go to the track, do a little slow break in, and I'll be screaming at the kid, "Hey, easy on the clutch right now." Let it run 4 or 5 minutes. It's usually pretty good. But you're right, it don't hurt. I mean, if you're going to be on top of your game, that's what you do. What question? Just answer the question. Which one? I think I did. Put it on the low setting on the plate. Is that the question you're asking, Nitro Freak? Man, I can see you over there sitting in your garage, pacing the floor and stuff. Okay, cool. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. It don't take much. Okay, cool, Nitro Freak. So, keep it simple, guys, with the springs. Keep them within, what is it? How do you say, 105, 100ths, or whatever it is, not 100. Gearhead Attic was still in here, he tell us. But y'all know, like, if you're running a 1.0, run a 0.95. If you're running a 0.95, run a 9.0 with carbon and aluminum. Do I got any surprises coming soon? Yeah, I do. Yeah, the clutch engagement to the power band. Okay, guys. Yeah, I can talk about that. So these engines, guys, may power at certain. And Reds actually puts out a graph on where these things make power, and that's a really good graph because I went off of it a little bit. But the power band in relation to the clutch, my theory, and this is kind of what I go on. I try to get my clutch to engage. Let's say in a nitro engine, say it's making power I'm just throwing a number out at you guys. It's making power at 10,000 RPMs. And that's where the power band, that's what we call coming up on the pipe, guys. That's where the engine, the pipe is up. When it comes up on the pipe, that's where just underneath that is where I want my clutch engagement to start slipping from, right there. I want it to stall right before, not right after, right before the power band comes in. And when it kicks in, we have a clutch slipping and we move. That's that's kind of the key of if you watch my cars, guys. One of those is an R5R, guys. That is the key. Is my clutch coming up on my pipe exactly the same time? Oh my God! I wish y'all could see me sporting this. My granddaughter got this for me. I'm getting her that buggy. She made it for me. I love it. I'll sport it till it falls off. That's the way I roll, guys. Anyway, but it is very important, and when it comes up, when it hits the power band and the clutch come together, it's very important not to, how do I say this, to interfere with the power band. You want that clutch to be slipping just enough, but it's pulling at the same time. If it hit, and this goes back to why don't you just put hard springs in and let it hit? Because if it hits too hard, it's going, oh. You want it to slip and carry that power band all the way through that clutch. Slip just a little bit until that motor is pulling, almost what we call a direct drive. And then, the clutch is not working no more. And yeah, it is all about feeling what you want, but it's all about getting that clutch. EKG, you're dead right. It's all about feeling what you want. But that's the big picture part of it. That's the big picture. It's like, but you got to get these clutches right and balanced to get a real feel. Okay, it is a feel for what you like, in a sense, guys, because first you have to get these motors running correctly and clutched right to have proper performance. That's why these pros are better. They're running the same stuff as we are. They're better because they know how to do that, to get it to that point. And then after that, they learn, after it's fast, then they learn either to have that feel, and then they may change it here and there. But it's not like, oh, okay, I like it the way this feels. Oh, I like it the way this feels. The 3 shoe or the 1 shoe. Hell no. They're in there getting their performance, and then they say, oh, okay, got performance. Let me tinker with it. And what all they're doing nowadays is they're putting steel steel flywheels on them and lowering that to get a little bit more feel. But as an average racer, and this is more where I'm going to let you guys that are trying to be good racers, to be advanced racers, because we all have gone out to the track and seen, I got the same stuff as they do. Why are they so much faster? Yeah, they can drive good, but why are they so much faster? It ain't the modded engines. It's because they know how to make this stuff work together. So, oh man. So, just like I said, I knew this would be a pretty hard video because there's so much. And I wish I would stop firing some questions at me and stuff. And 18 y'all in here, only 5 thumbs up. That sucks. That suck that bad. Somebody fire a question at me. I just want to sit here and preach. God damn. Spring rates, what about them? Anybody still here? Am I still live? Flipping your shoes? No. 12 man. I think I've heard of they'll make you do some wheelies or something. But that's nothing I've ever experienced. You know, I'm more of the racer side. Haven't tried anything like that. I'm the type guy that I get the stuff from the factory and I try to work off of what the factory's already manufactured. And I don't try to go crazy and do anything else. I just try to see what they give me and I work off of it. I don't do nothing too crazy. Two carbon. I would say no, EKJ. No, two aluminums and two carbons on 1.0s. No. To get that balance, it would be two aluminums on 1.0 and a 0.95 with the carbons. That's balanced. And actually, what I run, let me get my notes here. I'm running a 0.95 and a 0.90 on the reds, two carbon and two aluminum. And that's the R5R. That should work good for you. I'm telling you, you'll like that. You'll like that setup. 1.0s, you're blowing past that power band, I believe, EKJ, because I got experience with that R5R. So if that's what you're running and this is a buggy, we're not talking truggy. So two aluminums, two carbons, I would go 0.95 and a 0.90 because I think that's a little high stall. I think you're going past your power band. I think if you knock it down just a little bit, it'll work. That'll be better for you. And dude, shout out, man, taking that kid and getting him a win out there. That was awesome, dude. You had me pumped. I'm all about them kids. You know that. Coach Dominion all my life. There's one of them still in here, I think. He ain't said nothing. He's probably playing his video games. So yeah, Dad, I was watching it. Let's see if he pops up. You there, Jason? He's in Kansas, guys. He's a college pitching coach. Have twins. So it cost me a lot of money to do RC. Not just saying to keep going with the whole. If you're asking for the low C colors, I don't know. Depends on what engine you're using it on. If you're using it on a 5-port, I would go with 9.5 and a 9.0. Work around right around that area. Two carbon and two aluminum. If you want to go using your force using three, okay, three aluminum. Three aluminum, I would still go with the 95 and then the 90 on the one carbon. Always a little less on the carbon because they're not as heavy. Little Mr. Chili, you still in here? Anybody got any questions? I'm not quite understanding what you're asking, RC. Not just saying to keep them within a couple of thousandths weights, like you couldn't remember how to put them in. Not understanding. Come on, guys. Throw some questions. Oh, hey, Mr. Joey. There you are. Hit me up. I do much better if you ask me and I can explain things than just me just rattling. I'm a hands-on type guys. You come over here, I can show you. Gotta do what you gotta do, Mr. Little Chili. Loving it. What's up, Sean Hatch? Just now coming in? But EKJ 24,000, man. You know, it's a big science. This whole clutch thing is a big science. You know, the whole spring, the balancing. And I think in the bashing world, which must a lot of guys in here maybe from the bashing world, which is cool. You know, they throw the heavy aluminum shoes in there and they just start ripping and it says, "Damn, that sounds good." Yeah, it probably does. You got probably got a pretty good motor, got a good engine, which is what most of them what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing trash out there. They put it in there and they're seeing a huge difference. I'm like, oh, that's ripping. Do they really know it's ripping? Do they? Do some clutch adjustments. Because I can tell you what, half the modern motors I've seen take off are dogs, man. Yeah, they're fast once they get going. But from A to B, I'm gonna beat you with my 21. Yeah, Nitro Freak, I know what you mean. Yeah, hit me with the questions. Aluminum and steel versus on the flywheel. That's what I'm going to. I went to the three aluminum and the one carbon. I was running the aluminum RC. So I'm going to go to that steel flywheel. I want to settle it down just a little much. I don't want the engagement of the clutch. See, that's it. This is where that's a great question. That I don't want to change the engagement of my clutch. I just want the feel. Going back to what EKJ, the feel. You know what? I can change that feel by changing my flywheel, so it's not as radical. But I still get my engagement of my clutch on my power band at the same time. The power band and the clutch coming in together. I don't lose that. I can keep that the same, but I could tame it down by going to a steel flywheel. Aluminum flywheel, bigger track, something you're going to keep your R's up most of the time. Hell yeah, put the aluminum on and you roll with it. But on a short track, sticky track, technical track, steel flywheel is great, man. It'll make your engine I don't know. Surprised Muggy ain't caught on to that, guys. Just Muggy, that'll help you too. Just go put a steel flywheel. It'll help you out a little more. I'm sure that's what he's doing sometimes. Flywheel, what exactly? So, Mr. Chili just told me, this is what. Thank you. How they spool up. That's kind of what I was saying. I was just kind of telling you the aggressiveness type. Aluminum is gonna spool up faster. A steel is not gonna spool up quite as fast. So it'll slow it down, but there it goes. It doesn't change my clutch engagement by changing my flywheel. So spooling up means it's spooling up too fast, hitting the R's. I don't want that. I want to stay down. I want to stay down. I want to pull a gear. I want to be smooth, but I want to have that torque and I want to have that power. So I stay down, a little steel, calm it down so I can put the traction on the ground. Any other questions? Yeah, I want to put the steel on mine. That's actually why I have it out. I want to put the steel on this one, tame it down because the clutch engagement's perfect where I like it. But I want a little less gnarly coming off the corners. Like a hairpin, that's where it's a little gnarly coming off a hairpin, pitcher's mound type turn. It's a little gnarly coming off of there, so I'm going to try to tame it down just a little bit. They still carry the same speed. It's not going to hurt your speed. It just spools up slower or faster. All right, guys, so we head up to 17 in here. I got 5 thumbs up. Come on. Is it that bad? It's my first. Virgin. Man, you know, it's one of those deals. I want to shut this thing off. I'm going to hang up. I'm going to go, oh my God, I cannot believe I didn't say that, this or that. They're going to be lost. They're going to think, oh, what the hell? What's that? Something on Delene. What does that mean? I'm on my wife's surface. All right, guys. Well, I guess if y'all don't have any questions, I'm gonna wrap it up. Like I said, I did my best, guys. I'm not real good in front of the camera, and I probably was all over the place. I hope I touched on some things, you know, to help you guys out, some different clutch setups, how they affect. So, I guess to recap, let's say for the bashers, I want you guys, if you're running all aluminum, I'm not telling you don't do that. Run all aluminum, but I want to challenge you to stay with all the same springs and just lower or raise all of them at the same time, the tension of it. I challenge you that to see if you can get it on the pipe. Don't cost nothing. Spring money. Do it. I challenge you guys. Now racers, you know, try the other, you know, different setups. So, but man, I was nervous. That sucked. Anyway, guys, I hope I did a good job, and maybe I'll get more comfortable doing this. And I got to give me something to drink and eat and unwind. So, all y'all have a good night. Do you go to Thorn? Yes, I do go to Thornhill Track. That is not my home track. I'd like to say it's my home track, but it's my favorite track, without a doubt. I love that place. You talking about it's a little trailer. You walk in for the hobby shop, dudes. Racing, top notch, everything. Reedy, OS Motors, Proline tires, J Concept. I mean, you just don't see these kind of hobby shops anymore, guys. It's pretty awesome. So, but yeah, I'll be going back. In fact, Thornhill, they're having the Proline shootout there. That's where I want everybody to come. That's where they're giving out spec tires. Wouldn't you like to get a hold of that? Think about that, guys. Spec tire racing. That's where we need to go to in this hobby. You sign up, like back in the old days when we did the electric RC cars. We go to races, 110 scale. I had the 110 Gold Pan car. And they'd give you out light speed motors, pay with your entry, like $30 back in the day for the entry, and you get like a $20 stock motor. You know, now they're talking about going to spec tires, and they do this. Proline's doing a spec tire shootout at Thornhill. I think it's in October. That I push for that, guys. You talking about cutting down the cost and the advantage of the tires? Spec tire class. That's what we need. So we'll be going out to that race. Spec tires are the best. I agree, man. You know, there's some places you can cut corners, and some places you can't. And that's one place we can cut corners and make it fair, level the playing field over the pros. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. Again, thanks for tuning in. I hope you liked it. I'm out.